Hey everyone, we're here today to go over the two-handed backhand. We're gonna go through why my two-handed backhand works so well and how to get yours to that next level. There's kind of 5 ones that I like to think of. We have the backhand down the line, which is what we're gonna start with. The backhand cross court, kind of going into that transition zone. There are a couple variations with that one. The backhand dink, and then the backhand speed up. So before we get out on the court, I wanna go through a couple things first. We're gonna look at the grip of the paddle. We're gonna look at the footwork, and we're gonna just look at the body and kinetic chain of the backhand. So getting into the grip here, I'm gonna have that first hand on the paddle. Think of it as you're shaking hands. Then that second hand is gonna come right behind that first hand. I have an elongated paddle. I've played with a couple different paddles before as well. And if your hands don't fit like this on the paddle, you can slide this hand down or have a little bit of overlap. But the key is you wanna have this pointer finger on the back of the paddle here. This is gonna give you some extra feel here. And you wanna have both hands here, a little bit of space, and you're really letting that left hand do the talking on it. All right, so now that we got the grip all sorted out, we're gonna go through the footwork, the kinetic chain, and really focus on how to make sure that you're utilizing the most of your power and you're not missing out. A lot of times I see people will try and jerk their upper body or do things to take them away from getting that true power. We're gonna start with this lower body here. I'm gonna start with the footwork. So we're going left foot when you're going out to this backhand. And then if you're on the run, you can take a step with this right foot. For righties, it's gonna be the opposite if you're a lefty. And I'm starting with my heel, then I'm going toe to get the weight shift going forward. Once I have my weight going forward into the court, I'm gonna let my hips bring the paddle out. Still the upper body hasn't moved yet. And then once the paddle is out here, I let my arms follow through. I'm not taking a huge follow through here. I'm just taking it, letting it go to my target and just finishing in a comfortable location so I can recover quickly. And so now looking at how to aim the backhand, we are gonna look at down the line backhands and then cross court backhands. The down the line, there's really kind of one technique here. The cross court, there's gonna be the roll and then the drive. So with that down the line backhand, what I'm doing is I like to think for all of these, there's an arrow kind of in my paddle and I'm keeping that pointed to the direction I'm hitting the ball for as long as I can. So on this down the line backhand here, when I'm hitting this, I'm keeping the paddle pointed towards that down the line. I'm getting a long extension through the ball that's following that down the line path, and then I'm just letting the hands follow through naturally. So I'm really making sure holding it down the line, letting it follow through at the end. Now, with that, this cross court, we're gonna start with kind of the aggressive cross court drive. It's gonna be very similar, except now when I'm hitting this, my paddle is just at contact pointed cross court here. So I'm pointing it, holding it, holding it, holding it, and then letting it follow through at the last possible second. And that's gonna get that ball to go cross court. Now, the third kind of one here is a cross court roll. So this is gonna take the ball, I'm gonna kind of come around the ball here, get a little bit of shape on it. It's gonna be a little slower, and I'm just curving it into this cross court area. So I'm just taking this, feeling the ball, lifting it through, not a ton of motion, letting the arms, I'm not breaking the wrists here on any of these, letting the arms kind of shape around the ball and naturally finish to get that cut through the ball. Start here with the backhand down the line. I'm hitting this backhand at about 70% pace. My goal is to keep it as close to that net as possible. Make it as hard for him to hit this. Get a little bit of shape on the back of the ball so it dips a little bit. Making sure the footwork is set every time. Really feeling this in my legs here. And so now we're gonna go do that exact same thing, and we're gonna go through that, and we're gonna do that cross court. This one I'm taking a little bit more pace off. The goal is to really feel the outside of the ball as I'm trying to curve this into that cross court angle. And the key with this one is it's placement over power. So we'll get going here. and I'm curving around the outside of the ball and really just trying to pin him in that corner. Not overdoing the swing here, going for good repetitions. Here we're gonna work on the backhand at the kitchen line. It's predominantly this cross-court dink here. I'm getting my weight behind the ball. It's a very small motion. I'm just lifting the arms up a little bit to get this shape on it, trying to not do too much with it. And then when I get the opportunity here, I'm gonna take this same short swing and I'm gonna take this down the line and just finish like that. Make sure I'm weight's going towards the ball. All right, so now we're gonna go through the transition zone backhand. This is the trickiest one because you have to make that split-second decision on when to attack and when to defend. So I'm gonna feed this ball to Warren here, and I'm going to hit some of these as resets, and I'm gonna try and attack some of these. So here we go. Reset it, reset it. Really getting behind it, and attack it. And so it's really making clear when you see that ball going up, you're going through it, you're taking a full swing, getting that second hand on the paddle, and using your hips to go through it. So now we're gonna go through the backhand speed up off the bounce at the kitchen line. I'm on this side, I'm gonna be attacking this backhand when I get the opportunity. Warren's on that side. If I hit a bad backhand speed up off the bounce, he's gonna counter it, and we're gonna just go through how to hit this one here. So we're dinking around, I'm looking for the opportunity. I'm keeping my paddle similar. Good. And so it's finding that spot on his body where he's sliding. You want to be kind of looking and trying to hit that other spot. I'm keeping a really short backswing here, and I'm just throwing my hand through, and I'm either aiming down the line or I'm going to that hip, cross his body if he's starting to shade forehand, to expose that and get him into an uncomfortable position. All right, so we covered a lot in that, and there are a lot of different backhands there, but the key takeaway is make sure you're practicing those, getting those dialed. You have the framework now to get that backhand, start elevating your game with it. But please let us know in the comments if there's anything you still have questions on or anything else you want us to cover on the backhand side.